Hey you guys, it's me SpongeBob number 1 fan 2003 here, and as you can see I'm here with all of these awesome Man Sponge and Boy Patrick books. So right here we have Goodness Man Ray and What Were You Shrinking and EVIL versus the IJLSA. That's actually kind of a hard title to say, but I'm getting the hang of it. We also have the Mega Justice Collection, which actually has all 3 of these stories in here. Like, you can see how thick it is. It's so awesome and thick. And yeah, we actually have all 3 books here separately, and I actually did a review on this one right here, I think about a month ago, I'm pretty sure. And I actually got the other 2 books for Valentine's Day. And I also got that book right there for Christmas as well, just like that book. I actually got both of those as Christmas Eve presents. But, yeah, I already did my review on this bad boy right here. So, right now we're going to be reviewing What Were You Shrinking? And then maybe later today I'll make a video of this one right here, EVIL versus the IJLSA. So, let me just put these books off to the side a little bit and push them back. Okay. So here is What Were You Shrinking? So, as you can see on the front cover, there's Plankton right there, and he looks very, very big and evil. And then there's little Man Sponge and Boy Patrick down there, and they look pretty determined right there. And this is actually pink right here. I actually really like that pretty pink color. And here's the spine really quick. And here is the back. So obviously, here's a little description, just like Goodness Man Ray's, I guess. And the exact same little picture of SpongeBob as a superhero, but on this one right here, he's pink. And there's the Goodness Man Ray book right there. And obviously, just like Goodness Man Ray, this book was made by David Lumen and illustrated by the Artifact Group. And believe it or not, as I said in my Valentine's Day haul, I actually got a British copy of What Were You Shrinking, and I think that is hilarious. Okay? So let's go ahead and start looking at the pages that are in this book. Okay. And it is pretty obvious that this is a chapter book. So right here is a picture of Amazing Man Sponge. And then right here says The Adventures of Man Sponge and Boy Patrick and What Were You Shrinking? Obviously, this book was made by David Lumen, illustrated by the Artifact Group, and then there's Man Sponge and Boy Patrick right there. And this book was made in 2012, as you can see right there, and just some info right here as well. And here are the contents right here. Okay, so the first chapter is Sponge Patrol. So Patrick and SpongeBob really want to have an adventure, and they dress up as, once again, Man Sponge and Boy Patrick, and they look so awesome. And they see an old lady right there waiting to cross the street, and they decide to pick her up and, help her across the street. Which I think is actually a very, very good deed to do. You can always help an old person cross the street, which is actually very good. And then after they help the elderly lady, they actually see a boy with their worm, and they think that it's a monster apparently, and then they see Pearl and her friend Derek. And Sponge looks so cute right there in that photo. Okay. So, Derek actually asks Pearl if she wants to go to the dance with him. And she says that Derek should be at work, and then SpongeBob realizes that he's late for work at the Krusty Krab, so he dresses back up into his normal SquarePants and he leaves. So here is Krabby Heroes. So Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are at the Krusty Krab, and they see Squidward at the cash register, and they actually want to eat something. And apparently Barnacle Boy and Squidward don't really get along with each other. And then Squidward mentions their names, and SpongeBob immediately becomes very excited, and he loves Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and he really, really wants to have their autograph. So he, like, steals a pen from a guy, and then he gets a piece of paper. And Barnacle Boy does not want to see SpongeBob, so him and Mermaid Man actually leave, and Mermaid Man takes off his belt, and you can see his boxers. And apparently Mermaid Man leaves it behind, and then SpongeBob is too late to get their autograph, and he doesn't see them anymore. And then he sees the belt, and he tries to give it back to Mermaid Man, but they're actually leaving. And yep, SpongeBob is too late to give it back, and they leave the belt behind. So SpongeBob actually now has the belt in his possessions, and he is in love with it. And he actually remembers a time where Mermaid Man used the belt to fight evil. And then Man Sponge and Boy Patrick come along. Okay. And then SpongeBob wants to give it back to them, and then he decides to, like, you know, hold on to it until after work, all alone with Mermaid Man's belt. So he blasts something with it, and it actually becomes, like, tiny and stuff. As you can see, it's, like, very, very tiny. Like, it actually fits right on top of his fingertip. So, yeah, SpongeBob actually used the small ray. And then he remembers a time where Mermaid Man used the small ray. And then... hold on a second. Oh, he looks so cute. Okay. So SpongeBob actually turns lots of things, like, tiny. Like his spatula and a little table for a cockroach, and he's eating a Krabby Patty, and he even shrunk the hat. He even shrunk his hat. And then Squidward comes in, and he sees the belt, and he decides to tell on SpongeBob, and SpongeBob is freaking out, and he is like, no, like, frantically, and he's like trying to, like, tell Squidward to stop. And then suddenly SpongeBob shrinks Squidward. So now Squidward is very, very tiny, and Squidward tells SpongeBob to turn him back to normal size, or else SpongeBob is going to be in real big trouble. And obviously SpongeBob doesn't know how to use the belt, so he zaps Squidward a lot of times with different mechanics, I guess. And he like Squidward now has lots of eyes all over him, and some snakes, like poisonous snakes. And then Squidward's nose turns big, then his feet turn big, and now Squidward is freezing cold. And Squidward's on fire, then he's like spinning around, and then he's dancing, and then he's made out of mud. Oh jeez. And sorry. Okay. Then he's like made out of stone, like a statue, and then he finally tells SpongeBob to stop, and Squidward says that they should tell Mermaid Man about it, but SpongeBob doesn't want to get in trouble, otherwise he'd get kicked out of the fan club. So here's the next chapter. Oh, pickle, I was not paying attention. But, okay. So they go to Patrick's house, and, Patrick thinks that it's a Squidward action figure, and Patrick actually has a pickle that he, like, you know, like, makes fake hissing sounds, like, you know, that way the pickle and Squidward can, like, be in love. And then, that looks really, really gross right there with the pickle. And then Patrick explains Wumbo to SpongeBob, and Squidward is getting very, very annoyed, obviously. And now they have another flashback about, I guess, Wumbo stuff. I don't know, I haven't really read this book fully yet. And, Yeah, obviously Wumbo is not a real word, and Patrick explains it like Wumbo wing and stuff, and like it's first grade, and Squidward's very, very annoyed now. And then SpongeBob decides to, like, you know, like, he thinks that, like, you know, since it's like a W, like the M on the belt, then he accidentally clicks the small ray and he shrinks Patrick. And Squidward tells SpongeBob to take them to Mermaid Man, but of course he won't. And SpongeBob shrinks Sandy, and she's very, very mad. He shrinks Girlfish, he shrinks Mrs. Puff, he shrinks Scooter the Surfer Fish. And now SpongeBob has shrunken everyone in Bikini Bottom, and they're not happy with him at all. So, SpongeBob is very, very upset with himself. And then Squidward tells SpongeBob that he really, really needs to see Mermaid Man. And then SpongeBob starts to cry. And he says, "You don't understand." And then his mom tells him that, like, you know, he needs to admit his mistake. Like, that's what his mom says. Look, it's spelled like mum, because this is obviously a British book. Like, that's how you say it in British. And yeah, there's his mom right there. She just, like, you know, tells SpongeBob that he needs to admit his mistake. And then Mermaid Man says, "Don't worry, Mermaid Man will understand." And then Barnacle Boy says, "You're Mermaid Man, you old coot." So, obviously, Mermaid Man says, like, that he set the shrink rate to Wumbo, and then everyone is, like, super mad, and then they all shoot right out of the jar, and then they form into this, like, then they form all themselves into, like, you know, the sentence, "Get SpongeBob!" So here's Tiny Town, so, like, Tiny Town tunes. So, SpongeBob is now being attacked by everyone, that, like, they're all, like, punching him and kicking him. And, yeah, SpongeBob looks very, very scared. That's the most funniest picture I've ever seen. So, everyone, like, kicks and, like, punches SpongeBob around. And now SpongeBob has a big headache, and then he decides to, like, hold the M out, like a camera, and he, like, takes I guess, like, a selfie, and he says, "Cheese!" And then he shrinks himself down. And now everything is sort of back to normal, because, like, everyone is now tiny. So, and, then Plankton actually comes back from a trip, and then he sees the tiny town, and Plankton is, like, a giant, and he's like, "Huh?" And that's actually pretty much the end of the story. And then here's, like, everything for, like, Goodness Manray and stuff, which you've already seen my book review. Well, if you haven't, check it out, I guess. And, yep, so that's actually pretty much all for The Adventures of Man Sponge and Boy Patrick and What Were You Shrinking. I actually really, really super love this book. My favorite part was when, I guess, everything came back to normal and stuff. And, like, it's very, very entertaining for me. Look at how cute he looks right there. He's like, "Eh!" But, yeah. Everything is, like, all back to normal at the end, because SpongeBob shrinks himself with everyone else, and then, like, everything is back to normal, and then Plankton is, like, a giant compared to everyone else. It's really funny to me. So, yep, but make sure you guys stay tuned for my review of EVIL versus the IJLSA book later today. So, yep, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So, goodbye, everybody. Have a great day, and peace out. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Whee! Everyone's crawling all over me! I'm so sorry. I just adore that picture. Alright, goodbye, everyone. Have a great day once again, and peace out again.